There's something that the Houston Texans should be freaking out about before Sunday's playoff showdown against the New England Patriots. What is that? I'll tell you on the flip side. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast for Thursday, January 15th, 2025. Hit it.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people wonder.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
You grow up, mother. You kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Oi!
Oi! Ziggy-zag, ziggy-zag,
Welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast live wherever you stream stuff. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, X, and on the TikTok as well. Familiarity is the Houston Texans' biggest enemy on Sunday. Why is that? Well, take a look at all of the things that are New England Patriots related that are a part of the Houston Texans. Let's take a look at all of them. First off, you've got Texans offensive coordinator Nick Caley, who was a Patriots coach from 2015 to 2022. You've got Texans offensive line coach Cole Popovich, who was a Patriots coach from 2016 to 2020. You've got Texans senior assistant and pass game specialist Jerry Shuplinski, who was with the Patriots from 2013 to 2018. You've got Ben McDaniels. He's the Texans wide receiver coach and passing game coordinator. He's also Josh McDaniels' brother. And of course, you've now got Stephon Diggs, former Houston Texans wide receiver, now probably the New England Patriots' best wide receiver, who's got a lot of familiarity with what the Houston Texans do. In case you didn't see, Stephon Diggs yesterday speaking to the media about the about the Houston Texans and what their defense brings to the table. Here he is.
It's going to be another test for us. Like I said, it's one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league. Man-to-man coverage, that's what you want as a receiver. You know what you're getting, you know what you're seeing, and it's man versus man. So it's going to be huge for us to run routes the right way and be available for the quarterback. It's going to be a lot of contested catches and things like that. So just play what you see, the same game you've been playing, and, make those plays for the quarterback so he can get comfortable back there. Might not have to use the legs as much.
He's talking about Drake May, his mobility. Look, that's a lot of things that the New England Patriots have on the Texans going into this game. An offense that's got a lot of issues as it is. Yeah, they ran the ball really well against the Steelers on Monday night, but are you expecting that to happen again, given how the running game has struggled for much of this year? How do you feel about C.J. Stroud after that performance that he had Monday night with 5 fumbles? And then throw a whole lot of familiarity on top of the Texans coaches for the Patriots. When you prep for a playoff game, you are getting every single bit of intel you possibly can, and the Patriots are going to have a lot on this Texans offense, which obviously has some real limitations, especially if Nico Collins isn't going to be good to go. So I'm sorry to bust out the cliche, obnoxious, hack quote that is overused in movies, but for the Houston Texans against the New England Patriots on Sunday, this obnoxious-ass quote that every Houstonian hates when it comes to Houston sports, it's very, very true.
Houston, we have a problem.
I'm really sorry that I played that. I also believe that that clip was edited because I think it's Houston, we have a problem here. So the Patriots aren't done as far as digging for information on the Texans. They're also probably doing the same thing by signing Darrell Taylor, who the Texans waived earlier this week. So now, on top of that, knowledge that you might have on the on the Texans offense, you're also getting a little bit extra on Houston's defense, at least as much as you can. What kind of intel can you get from signing a guy who got waived by the Texans? Well, let's take a look at Ross Tucker, a former offensive lineman, what he had to say on the Ross Tucker podcast about what bringing Taylor in might do for the Patriots against the Texans.
So this happens from time to time. I firmly believe that Mike Vrabel signed him in order to pick his brain and get any knowledge he can from Taylor about the Texans. Now, listen, he's a D lineman. So what does that mean? They have different calls for stunts or twists. Sometimes it's as simple as you, me, but there's other words they use. They have front seven checks that they'll make. The Texans know this. So this just makes the Texans have to change their code words, which is really just annoying, right? I mean, it's not that big a deal, but the Texans have to change it now. They can't just go with what they've been going with because Taylor knows it, and he's going to tell it to the Patriots. So it's a little thing, but if nothing else, Vrabel's making those guys have to change their calls in the front seven this week, which is annoying at a minimum.
Okay, so the Patriots are annoying the Houston Texans at the very least. Now, you might be tuning in right now, and Paul, you're talking about all this familiarity that the Patriots have with the Texans, specifically the offense. Well, couldn't that work against the Patriots too? Sure, yeah, I imagine DeMeco Ryans is talking with all of these guys, with Nick Caley, with Cole Popovich, with Ben McDaniels, with Jerry Shaplinski, about everything that makes the Patriots offense the Patriots offense. So sure, Texans are going to get a little familiarity out of this as well. The big wrinkle for the Texans defensively is how do you handle a mobile quarterback like Drake May? But on the other side of things, if you're the Patriots and you've got all this intel on what the Texans offense can do, and you get from Darrell Taylor a couple of things that could potentially help you figure out what the Texans defense is trying to do. It's one thing to have an idea of what this defense is going to do. It's another to experience this entire thing in person. And I think there's going to be an adjustment period for the Patriots against this Texans defense. This is the part of the show where we try to put together a little bit of AI slop, because this is the slop generation of sports talk, okay? This is how it goes. If I'm going to blow up, if I'm going to make it big, I've got to put out the kind of bullshit that blows up on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, X, etc., etc. And I am willing to make that sacrifice. So, if you're watching this live, you know that this is bullshit. But if you see this after the fact, just get your popcorn ready and go straight to the comments section, because we're about to do some bullshit. All right, ready? Getting in character. 3, 2, 1. Mike Vrabel's talking trash about your Houston Texans defense. Can you believe what Mike Vrabel had to say about what the Texans bring to the table? That swarm mentality during his press conference earlier in the week? Here's what Mike Vrabel had to say about the greatest defense in NFL history. Let's take a look right now. This is outrageous from Mike Vrabel talking trash about this Texans defense. Look at this man right now.
Well, we never want to sit there and be in 3rd and 12. We were 3rd and 15 last week. We picked it up. Chargers were ranked the same as the Texans, and we're going to go play the game. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play the game. We're going to enjoy it just like we did last week.
The Chargers are the same as the Houston Texans. We're going to enjoy it the same way we did last week, this week. What the hell is this? This is an outrage. How dare Mike Vrabel come and talk about the Texans defense like this after all the welcome we gave him when he was the Houston Texans defensive coordinator. Hell, he wasn't even good as a defensive coordinator. He got a promotion that he didn't actually deserve. So I think we should all take a look at what that man did and the disrespect he gave to a city that welcomed him in, other than the time that the guy stole 3 of his Super Bowl rings. Did we welcome this man in, and he's saying about your beloved Houston Texans that they are just like the Chargers and that they're not scared and that they're not going to change their offense for going up against the greatest defense since the Spartans at Thermopylae? This is an outrage. How dare you, Mike Vrabel? You're going to eat your words on Sunday. Hang on. Let me spit into my spittoon to show my disgust with Mike Vrabel. I think I spit on my keyboard there. It don't matter. So there we go. Do we like that? We're going to put it together, and we're going to make it look like Mike Vrabel talked trash about the Texans' defense. But if we're being honest, Mike Vrabel, extremely complimentary of the Texans' defense yesterday. He was asked if this is the best defense that the Patriots are going to go up against this season. Asked by a Patriots reporter, I believe this is Karen Guregian for Mass Live Sports, asking this of Mike Vrabel.
Is this the best defense you've faced so far?
Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, they great talent, great scheme. They play hard. I respect how hard they play. And they're just not only talented, but they have a play demeanor that I can appreciate.
Of course, it's the best defense in the National Football League. So we had some fun, but the Patriots, much like in the Bill Belichick era, are going to have a healthy amount of respect for any team that they go up against. And this is going to be a hell of a matchup on Sunday. DeRhino with the super chat, which, by the way, as we get this new chat system ready to go, look at this. Watch this. 3, 2, 1. DeRhino.
Oi! 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 Ziggy-zag, ziggy-zag, oi, oi, oi.
Let's see. Oh, it worked! DeRhino asks, where do your allegiances lie this weekend, Paulie? And shout out for the super chat. I'm going to give you a better answer for this tomorrow. I'll probably turn it into a bit. But in case you don't tune in tomorrow, as someone who grew up in Massachusetts, who loves football because I grew up watching the New England Patriots, you can see behind me right there, pointing up there. That's from the first game I ever went to. First NFL game I ever went to. That is a towel from a Patriots-Chargers game from August 31st, 1997. I was very blessed for a kid that had a dad who was able to take him to, I don't know, at least 50 Patriots games over the course of my life. I will always love the Patriots. I also will say this. It is better for whatever career I could potentially carve out still as I'm looking for that next gig, working with Sports Radio 610 from time to time right now. But it would help me out professionally a lot more if the Texans win this game and if they go to an AFC championship game. A lot more, especially because there's a chance the Texans could host that AFC championship game at home. So professionally, it's better if the Texans win. I'll also say this. The last time that I watched a Texans-Patriots game where I wasn't really 100% sure how I was feeling was at the beginning of the 2018 to 2019 season, where the Texans also started off 0-3 but made the playoffs. I had just been moved up to Morning Drive at Sports Radio 610 with my guys, Seth Payne, Mike Meltzer, and there was a lot of hype for the Texans going into that year. It was Deshaun Watson's second year. They had some really good players. And then they start off 0-3. And I remember that first game of the year where they're playing the Patriots, and I'm realizing people are going to tune into tomorrow's show on the radio based off of if the Texans win or lose. And the Texans lost that game. I found myself angrier that the Texans were fucking it up than I was happy that the Patriots won. I've seen so much success with that team, and obviously I would love to see the Patriots win a Super Bowl, but considering that the great people of Houston have allowed me to have the career that I've had for much of the last 15 years and how much you guys have supported me, I really want you guys to be happy. Like, I've had, it's going to sound cocky, but I've had my fair share of fun. But I'm really not going to know until I watch the game. But I will say, just having covered this team as many years as I have, like, that definitely changes it a little bit. I'm trying to cover this as objectively as I possibly can with a little bit of fun along the way. But I think I'm going to figure it out live at Easy's Liquor Lounge on Sunday as I watch the game. Oh, wow. I'm really happy with the new comment widget that we have on the show, and I'm glad it finally got up and running. It took a little bit of time to get going, but you can watch along on all sorts of different ways of this show. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and on X. Junior Bronco says Paul's a Bucks fan. No. But if the Bucks do well, I do support them. Maisel F. Destruct says, play the Oilers theme song, please. If I do, I will get copyright struck, but this is how it sounds generally. We'll talk about the formerly Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans later on in the show. Houston has the Oilers, the greatest football team. We kick the ball from goal to goal like I think it's moved the ball, like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you're talking Houston, you're talking Super Bowl, because we're the Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers #1. We're the Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers. We moved to Tennessee at the last minute because Bud Adams is a cheap guy who's trying to steal money from the city of Houston, basically, by getting more renovations for the Astrodome that already had a lot of Astrodome money or something. I don't know. Anyway. More for Texans and Patriots. It's looking like Nico Collins is out. I don't know how much stock I put into this rando doctor's account. What's this guy's name? Dr. Jesse Morse. I'll take a look at his avatar. Is his avatar Johnny Sins? Let's see. Look at this. Look at this guy. Do we trust this doctor? This is internet Dr. Jesse Morse. Regenerative medicine, stem cells, and longevity. Board certified in both family and sports medicine, NFL injury expert, CEO of @Injury Experts with a Z. That makes me take him a little less seriously, but the injury experts, your trusted NFL's injury analysis, owns the largest and most accurate NFL injury database. Watch our YouTube/TikTok. CEO is Dr. Jesse Morse. He's bragging about all the things he's been featured on. The Coach JB show, Jesus. What did he have to say? Nico Collins, this is from Monday night, suffered a concussion tonight. It appears to be his second career concussion, based on his @Injury Experts injury history. Shameless plug. His first was earlier this year in October, and he missed one game. The fact that he required... Well, that was my TikTok camera. We're going to have to get a better stand for that. Hang on a second. I'll keep on reading it. The fact that he required help off the field. This is his second concussion in less than 3 months. Sometimes repeat concussions cause lingering symptoms. And this game was played on a Monday. Will make clearing the protocol very difficult. I give him a 30% chance to clear it. The protocol is 5 steps, with each step taking at the minimum of 1 day. So the earliest you can clear the protocol is Saturday, as today is blah, 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 blah. Okay, no one cares. 30%, where the fuck are you digging that out of? I would say 0%, because that concussion looked bad, and it happened on a Monday, and the Texans and Patriots are playing on a Sunday, and we saw C.J. Stroud earlier this year miss, 2+ games with a concussion? Nico's not playing. We'll talk more about what the Texans will look like without Nico on tomorrow's show. As far as other injuries, Kamari Lassiter, Azeez Al-Shaair limited at practice yesterday. Meanwhile, Patriots corner Christian Gonzalez looks like he's about to play. Hunter Henry also limited participation, but Gonzalez is at the very least in stage 4 of the concussion protocol based off of the videos of him at practice. As far as interesting things said before Texans and Patriots on Sunday, here is CJ Stroud talking about the criticism that he's been under. By the way, that was trending on X earlier today. It said this, and you can watch along on all the streaming apps. Debate over Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud's playoff performance ahead of divisional round game against New England Patriots. Social media discussions focus on C.J. Stroud's 3 playoff wins, including his recent performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers, marked by 5 total touchdowns and 4 turnovers. Huh? What? That is wrong, Gronk. Critics argue he's carried by the Texans' elite defense. I agree with that. While supporters highlight his steady demeanor growth entering his 3rd divisional round playoff appearance and his quarterback rating of 97.5 in 5 playoff games. Okay. What did C.J. Stroud have to say when asked about some of the criticism of his play recently? Here he is.
Yeah, I've learned a quote: "Don't love the love, don't hate the hate." Like, things be up and down throughout your life, your career, whatever it is. I think that's just how life works in general. But especially in the position I'm in, everything is, criticized and everything is talked about. So, I've learned to, to stay what's important to me. That's my faith, my family, and then my teammates, and then myself, how I view myself. So, through failures and successes in this game, from time I've been 16, with somewhat of a public eye, and when I went to Ohio State, same thing. Like, they would love me one week, hate me the next. So I'm well equipped with what is going on, and I'm excited to play this next game and just kind of keep the same kill.
Don't love the love, don't hate the hate. I mean, that is a good mentality to have. I know that Stroud evokes a variety of emotions, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Twitch or X or TikTok or Instagram, all that jazz. I realize that. And, I can't do nothing about it. Does Edward Reno says, "Stop singing, please." I will never stop singing. Interesting. I guess Instagram, we still are having issues getting Instagram into the chat. Let's see if I can get Instagram in here. Do a little refresh and do a little refresh and do a little refresh. At some point it'll work. This new chat system is cool, but it's definitely not perfect. Anyway, so that's CJ Stroud talking about his performance. I saw this from John Alexander in the Houston Chronicle, and I thought it was a surprising quote in a mailbag. He was asked by Owen in the Houston Chronicle if there's cause for concern with the way C.J. Stroud played against the Steelers. By the way, he can't play like that. Period. Yes, there should be some concern over that performance. Seeing a lot of national pundits, continued Owen in this question to Jonathan Alexander, saying he's the one holding back this team. I can't believe people actually believe that over one bad performance. Owen, did you just start watching? Stroud's had a lot of shaky performances. Maybe not bad performances, but shaky performances this season. And against a team like the Steelers, he can play like that. That can't happen against the Patriots. That can't happen against the Bills. Even though I think some would argue it did kind of happen against the Bills last time around. Broncos, sorry, I don't take you seriously. I just don't. I know that Broncos beat the Texans earlier this year, but that's neither here nor there. This is Jonathan Alexander's response. Obviously, turning the ball over can lose games, wrote Alexander. But if you take most of his games this year, he's much improved. Much improved? What are we talking about? He's much improved from last year. I think he's a little bit better than last year, but not much better. His 8 interceptions were among the lowest in the league this season. Okay. Do you mean it from a turnover perspective then that he's improved, much improved? More from Jonathan Alexander. Let's not overreact here. I don't think anyone's overreacting to say that he struggled against the Steelers. He did, and that it should be a concern going forward. It's the playoffs. The running backs and defense picked him up in this game. That's what football is about. Quarterbacks all across the league have bad games. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert was bad against the Patriots. Yeah, well, Justin Herbert's on Fraud Watch. You know, all the online dorks love to talk about Justin Herbert's film. Okay, guy sucks in the playoffs. Oh, but his offensive line isn't good. Sure, but isn't he God? Oh, Matt Stafford had to deal with the same issues. I'm sorry. Stop talking down to me that Justin Herbert is better than what I've seen from him in the playoffs. He's constantly put on a pedestal. Texans stuffed him in a locker last year. Oh, the Chargers, they invested a lot of the offensive line. Everyone's injured this year. Fine, great, awesome. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think he's that good. Drake May had one of his worst stat lines of the season against the Chargers. Right, but he runs. His running ability is what makes him special. Matthew Stafford almost lost to the Carolina Panthers. Well, the Rams almost lost to the Carolina Panthers. I think it's more than that. The Rams did score 30-plus points. My point is that it happens. It's impossible to have a good game every week, and one game isn't indicative of what is to come. Stroud will make adjustments, especially with center Jake Andrews. Yeah, he fucking has to. How many missed snap exchanges were there? And improve. I think Jonathan Alexander is way too calm and rational answering that. No, he should be concerned about the way that he played against the Steelers. He's got to be better against a team like New England. Even if it's not the New England of old with the, it's not Tom Brady, it's not Bill Belichick, all that stuff. But this is a good team and a smart team. And I think that given they had their own issues with holding on to the football last week, they're going to be a little more careful on that front. How much does that matter against a defense as good as the Texans? We shall see. Did we get the Instagram chats in? Nah, we didn't. Damn. But shout out to Jared Trim. Shout out to my brother-in-law's brother, Lowell, stopping by. This is my neutral hat. I guess it's definitely a little more Houston than it is New England. But there you go, everybody. There you go. Shout out to everybody in the comments section. We appreciate you stopping by. So that was C.J. Stroud talking about some of his struggles. I do think it's something that you got to have in the back of your mind going forward. What else do we have? Interesting things said yesterday. D'Amico Ryans described the Houston Texans defense with I think this is a dated reference now. Even for someone like D'Amico Ryans, who is like a little bit older than me, this is definitely dated. But shout out to him. I like that coaches have dated references. I don't want them to have current references. Here's D'Amico Ryans.
Oh, man, a lot of different terms. But I would just say you're looking for four guys who, I mean, it's like four Tasmanian devils just wrecking everything that's in front of them. That's how I look at our guys. They are fast. They are physical. And the way they get off the ball, the way they collapse the pocket, they're a terror. And it's fun to watch those guys. And that's what makes our defense go. Like, why are we able to rush four guys and play the way we play? It's not because of I'm such a great coach. It's because we got really great players up front. And this game will always be about the players, and those guys, they set the table for us, for our entire team.
Yeah. for Tasmanian Devils. If you've watched Looney Tunes, look this up. Like, it's kind of dated reference, just a little bit. But yeah, I think that's an accurate description with the relentless nature with which they play. And it's going to be a tough one for the New England Patriots. We will get to some more of the things that D'Amico Ryans had to say on tomorrow's show. Shout out to Tay713 with the super chat. Where is the Herbert hate from the national media? It's there, but it's not that there. Because the Chargers are not a team that people really give that much of a shit about. Like, a part of it is ratings. They constantly talk about the Cowboys. They're probably talking all day about the Giants hiring John Harbaugh, which we'll get to in a little bit on the show. But it's because of who the Chargers are as a franchise. Shout out to Aaron Michael for the follow. Shout out to everybody watching along on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc., etc. What other comments do we have here? Do-do-do-do-do, scoobly-dee-doo-doo, shooby-dooby-doo. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I'm so into you. It's easy, just beautiful. La 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 la. Anyway, what's up, Beer Belly Sports? Let's see. I really want to get the Instagram comments in here. It's just driving me crazy. It should be here. But anyway, shout out to Trey for the donation. Did it pop down? It did pop down. Okay. We're learning this new chat system on the fly. What else do we have? This is Patriots left tackle Will Campbell, who some believe struggled against the Chargers, talking about that performance with Patriots media yesterday. Here he is, Will Campbell.
I don't give a shit what anyone says, to be honest with you. You know, it's easy to, type behind a Twitter account that, is fake. And, as I hold myself to the highest expectation of anybody, I want to be perfect. And it's hard for me to, get told that it's going to be hard to be perfect. But, the Chargers, obviously I didn't pitch a shutout. I had 2 or 3 plays that I wish I could have back. But that's $300 million in defensive ends.
So they got some highly paid defensive linemen. He didn't look so great. I wasn't expecting him to look good against the Chargers. I really wasn't. I thought to myself, it's his first game back after that injury that he suffered. And that was like a month plus ago, and it was a knee injury, right? It was like a sprained MCL or something like that. I mean, that's not a great first draw. This is an even worse draw for him. The speed that the Texans defensive linemen have, the power that the Texans defensive linemen have. This is going to be a tough matchup for Will Campbell. And I think really for the Patriots and Drake May, how many sacks is he going to be able to evade? Is it even possible given that Josh Allen, who's as mobile and big as he is, got sacked 9 times, It's going to be really tough. Drake May's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league this year. He holds onto the football long, and he's always trying to make plays. Omar says he sounds like a Southern Belle. Well, he is from Louisiana, I think, Will Campbell. Sam is saying 48-6 Texans on TikTok. I don't know if it's going to go that easily. Joe Fresh, 95, thank you for the super chat. With Nico Collins gone, maybe a Jaden Higgins awakening game. He did, Jaden Higgins, look pretty good against the Steelers. It took me a while to remember that for some reason. It took me a hot minute. He looked pretty good against the Steelers. I still wonder overall about how ready he is for a big-time playoff game where the elements might be a factor. It does look like it could snow on Sunday, but he has played at Iowa State in the past. I'm assuming he's at least used to cold weather, but that could be a factor. Lowell says, biggest problem is Stroud is a Southern boy, can't handle the cold or pressure. Look at Ohio State, Michigan in 2021. Snow game and he crumbled despite throwing to Jackson Smith, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson. God damn, he had that many dudes. Ryan Lost in Texas says 429 to 69 Texans. That would be an interesting final score. What else do we have? Texans, Patriots related. Jaylen Reed, this poor guy. This poor dude. What a tough year Jaden Higgins has had. Or not Jaden Higgins, Jaylen Reed's had. Sorry, I'm confusing all my names together. Got all these screens up. I'm going to get another screen for YouTube in a little bit. Jaylen Reed, Houston Texans rookie, has already had just shit luck when it comes to injuries this season. First off, as far as injuries go this year, and apologies, I'm still loading the little thing that I had with all the injuries he has suffered this season. Here we go. Jaylen Reed missed the first 5 games of the year with a knee injury. He missed the last 5 games with a forearm injury. So he played in 7 games, missed 10 due to 2 different injuries. And on top of that, a month ago, the dude got carjacked at gunpoint. Fuck. Texans rookie safety Jaylen Reed was carjacked at gunpoint in his home earlier this month. It happened January 4th. Reed was approached by Montreal Dwayne Fry and 2 other masked suspects armed with rifles. Jesus! The trio allegedly demanded Reed give them everything in his house, but they stole his SUV and left the scene. At least they didn't hit him in the face. According to the Houston Police Department, officers located the SUV, chased it to the Greens Point area. Of course, goes to fucking Guns Point. When the car chase ended in a crash, Fry was the only person inside the SUV. Montreal, first name. That's a cool first name. He was taken into custody. Authorities said 2 Houston Police Department vehicles were involved in crashes during the chase. A small fire broke out. No officers were seriously injured. Fry was arrested and is facing 2 felony charges: unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and evading arrest. He's being held on $500,000 bond. Yeah, we should have more bonds like that for violent crimes. Just a thought. Fry was in court last Friday. He's due back in court February 10th. Prosecutors asked to reset said case. Of course, Fry was on probation at the time of the carjacking, and Reed was targeted because he's a known public figure in the community. I don't know, he's not that known, you know? Wonder if that SUV is flashy, but that sucks for Jaylen Reed. So he's having a year, and hopefully he makes a big play against the Patriots this weekend. For those who don't know, I grew up rooting for the New England Patriots. I am out of the closet on that front. I am still trying to figure out how I'm going to feel during Sunday's game, which will be at Easy's Liquor Lounge. Come watch the game with us, Will Kunkel and me. This guy is trying to make me hate my favorite team, and he is sort of succeeding. This guy is a complete bozo. His name is @IJordanMoore. He is everything that's wrong with sports media in 2025. This is what he had to say about CJ Stroud and the Texans playoff resume gauntlet. 2023, Flacco and the Browns. 2024, Herbert and the Chargers. 2025, 44-year-old Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Now they actually get a real opponent on the road at the Patriots, a top 2 offense and a defense that just put the league on notice. Okay, dude. I like the Patriots defense. I think it has some real issues when it comes to its pass defense, even with as good as Christian Gonzalez is. I don't think the Chargers had a prayer. Much like I don't think the Steelers had a prayer. The Texans defense is awesome. And they have been awesome in all 3 of those games that he listed. And on top of that, the Texans defense has been awesome against Josh Allen the last 2 times that they've gone up against him. If you're a Patriots fan going into this game, the idea that you can be arrogant or cocky because the Texans' playoff resume isn't great is fucking ludicrous. Josh Allen owns the Patriots. The Texans own Josh Allen. Have a little respect for the defense. Have your questions about CJ Stroud all you want. Show the defense some respect. More from this guy who sucks and I think should go to jail for this post, especially given that we now have a slew of online assholes who are trying to make a name as gambling experts. Look at this bullshit. This drove me crazy. Drake May is 11-0 when the Patriots are a 3-point favorites at 9-2 against the spread. The Patriots are currently favored by 3. Who gives a shit? By the way, easy schedule for the Patriots this year, but is that not the worst? Look at this record that CJ Stroud has when the spread is X. Y or Z. Shut the fuck up. Our guy, Ryan Lost in Texas, who is in the midst of our chat on the Twitch side of things, had this comment in response to my reposting of this last night after a few drinks while at a Houston rodeo event. That's what the hat's all about. Ryan Lost in Texas posted this. I am 17-6 when 5 to 6 beers deep while playing Madden, and 23-12 when I've had 7 plus beers. Hashtag analysis. Yeah, that's what it is. When I was a little kid, I remember watching NFL Countdown on ESPN, and they would bring in Hammer and Hank, this guy with a cool name from where? Where is he from? Miami or something like that. And he would come up with these ridiculous spread numbers. The Patriots are 0-6 on AstroTurf when the weather is under 30 degrees. What the fuck does that have to do with the guys who are on the field? Rosters change so much year to year and game to game. Who cares about what a team's record is against the spread? Why? Why is that information useful? You're probably a 50% handicap or whatever it's called when you pick. What does that information have to do with anything? This is a trend. Okay, cool. What actually happens on any given Sunday? A lot of shit. But look at this trend. It's an interesting trend. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Ugh. I hate gambling experts. I think they're self-important. I don't think they're entertaining. They take themselves way too seriously. They Marilyn Manson themselves over having a 50% success rate when it comes to picks. These people suck. Absolutely suck. So there you go. You can tag them on this rant if you want. What else do we have here? Oh, man, I'm starving. I hear my stomach grumbling. I'm going hungry. Well, how about this? See this? Hear about this? How about this? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Man, we still can't get the chat from Instagram in here. It's driving me crazy, but whatever. We'll figure it out maybe by the next episode. John Harbaugh, who turned 64 in September, is the new head coach of the New York Giants. 5 years, $100 million. Ugh. If you're the Giants, you want this? He's going to be 64 in September. 5 years, $100 million. I think there's not very much of a difference between Mike McCarthy and John Harbaugh. One Super Bowl each. A lot of playoff disappointment. The only difference is John Harbaugh cries often about being cheated by the New England Patriots in the playoffs. So the Giants hired a guy that the Patriots own. That's a different direction for them. We'll see how this goes. I'm not expecting much from John Harbaugh in New York. Yeah, they got Jackson Dart. They're excited about him. They got some fun young players, Cam Scatabo, Malik Neighbors, and they got some talent on the defensive side of things. But, I mean, I think Brian Daboll is a solid coach. He won Coach of the Year, and he's out. Like, is John Harbaugh, 64 years old, going to be better after, like, a long stretch of mediocrity with the Ravens, despite having a top 3 quarterback? Brian Daboll apparently said, hey, man, like, you got to take this gig. Okay. But did anyone see this related to the New York Giants hiring John Harbaugh? This is a post from Albert Breer. The Titans had the plane ready for today with general manager Mike Borgazzi, president of football ops Chad Brinker, and owner Amy Adams Strunk set to go to Baltimore before John Harbaugh canceled. They went after Harbaugh from right when he was let go, but knew it might be a long shot. Why are the Titans bragging about sliding in the DMs of the hottest chick out there, asking her out? What? Why? Why? Cool flex. You slid in the DMs of Sydney Sweeney asking her out? Scooter Braun's going to be pissed. Congratulations. But the Titans want everyone to know, hey, we were thinking about flying out the welcome PJ to go and see this guy. They are, the Titans right now, wildly swiping right. If you've been on the social media dating apps before, some people, when they get down bad, swipe, 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 swipe. I'll admit it, I've done it before. Now I have a strong, powerful, independent woman, beautiful girlfriend, love of my life. Things are a little bit better, but I have been there. That's what the Titans are doing. Do you know how many interviews the Titans have already done and how many they have scheduled? I don't see how this helps. Interviews they've already done. Colts defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. Former Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett. Defensive coordinator Vance Joseph for the Broncos. Titans interim head coach Mike McCoy. Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, former Browns head coach. Former Falcons head coach Raheem Morris. More scheduled interviews. Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. We're at 9. Giants former head coach Brian Daboll. That's scheduled for tomorrow. 10. Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator. 11. Jeff Hafley, the Packers defensive coordinator. 12. Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. 13. You heard about Harbaugh. That's 14. Jonathan Gannon, former Cardinals head coach. I've lost count. 15, 16. Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, who stepped down. Mike McCarthy, Mike McDaniel, Robert Saleh. We're talking 20. How does this help? You got all these interviews scheduled, but you're taking your sweet time. I see nothing about Mike Tomlin yet. I think Mike Tomlin's going to sit out the year. And for all I know, maybe the Titans are thinking about trading to go and get Matt LaFleur. But this team is just so poorly run. They're flexing about almost sending out the welcome wagon to go get John Harbaugh. But the best headline they have today is we're set to interview Mike McCarthy on Saturday. What a god-awful organization. And thank the Lord above that they are gone from this town. Anyway, what else do we got going on? It's a tinfoil hat Thursday, everybody. Oh, I got a tinfoil hat for you. I do have a tinfoil hat for you. Some people think it looks a little bit like a hood. I don't know what they're talking about. I think it looks like Attila the Hun armor. But anyway, it's a tinfoil hat Thursday. Do you think the refs are out to get your favorite team? My favorite basketball team sure seems to think so. Did anyone see Joe Mazzulla, Boston Celtics head coach, and how he dealt with the media after a recent Celtics loss?
Joe, give yourselves a chance to win, I guess. Take us through the last couple of sessions.
Illegal screen.
What'd you say?
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
What fell apart to get you guys behind, and then how were you able to get back?
Illegal screen.
What do you mean by that? What do you want people to know?
Illegal screen.
Would you like to say anything else?
Illegal screen.
I love him. God, I love that man. I love Ime Udoka as head coach of the Rockets. I love Joe Mazzulla. I'm so glad that they kept him around and that he was able to get a title with them. There's a college point shaving scandal, by the way, if you hate the referees. This popped up as an ESPN push notification. 20 men have been charged in a point shaving scheme. 39 college basketball players on 17 Division I teams. 29 games were fixed per a federal indictment. 15 of the defendants played college basketball the last 2 years. 2 of the players were already sanctioned by the NCAA. 4 of the players charged have played for their current teams in the past week. Said U.S. Attorney David Metcalf in a news conference, this was a massive scheme that enveloped the world of college basketball. This was a significant and rampant corruption of college athletics. God, I hate the gambling people. I really do. They are ruining sports for all of us. And if a sports book wants to bribe me to not say any of this stuff anymore, great. But it's really getting disgusting. What else do we have here on a Tinfoil Hat Thursday? A lot of people were wondering why it was that Tony Romo sucked as much as he did on Sunday in the Bills-Jaguars broadcast. Adam Shine, Syracuse guy, asked him about what was going on Sunday. Not very pointed with the way he asked it. Here is what Tony Romo, who was sick, I guess, had to say about that.
Referenced it earlier. Were you fighting an illness in the game on Sunday?
Oh, yeah. We had a bunch of guys sick, but, yeah, we were just grinding through. But you're not going to miss a playoff game. It's too much fun. And, by the way, we got a few records. It's been fun watching them. And our whole crew and everyone gets so excited about it. It's fun to watch. It's a good one. It's always special when you get a bunch of people watching. So it is playoff season, so it's important.
It really doesn't get better. And listen, you guys are fantastic. The crew is great. Listen, you played quarterback for...
Okay, Shine. I mean, look, Shine's a big part of the NFL broadcast now. He's doing those updates in the middle of the games. I think he does a great job with them. Way better than having some ex-player like ramble through the highlights and not sound so good. But the Nance Romo broadcast, it's rough, man. It's absolutely rough. So there you go, everybody. That is Tinfoil Hat Thursday. Should I put the cowboy hat back on? Should I put my Syracuse hat on? A man of many hats. Could do that. It's a cool hat, right? Does match my shirt. It's a Jeremy Pena MVP shirt. In case you are blind. Or do we go back to the cowboy hat? I'm going to leave it up to the people. I leave it up to the people. I don't know how many people follow Grizzlies Hood News. Fantastic coverage of all the fun things going on in Houston sports. I am really tired of people in all sorts of spots in Houston that drive like this. If you have, I guess, slabs on your car, you have diplomatic immunity. Did anyone see this clip? This is from Grizzy's Hood News on Facebook. There's a guy in the middle of the highway who's just standing there in the absolute middle, not pulled out to the side. He's got a green hat on. He's got a hoodie on. He's telling people, like, don't come closer. I have no idea what's going on here. None whatsoever. But fuck that guy. That's my first thought. There's more, by the way. This is part 2, where I guess the guy was arrested. Some people believe that it's drugs that he was under. Maybe not. I do think that it's possible. That's not a very flattering image of him from Grizzy's Hood News. But God, people that have those on their cars, it's cool in a music video. It's not cool when you're making this music video a part of real life. If I see you driving around on the highways with those, one, I'm going to be nervous that you're going to fuck my car up. Not that my car is a special car or anything like that. And two, like, wait a second. I'm supposed to accommodate your bullshit? Fuck that. More from Houston and the world of brain rot. If you're looking for a new gift for your kids, guess what? There is a brand new doll for your kids.
The first autistic Barbie doll is part of the Fashionistas line. The doll features flexible joints for stimming, which is the term for hand flapping or similar gestures that some people
That sounds like taking drugs.
with autism use to express excitement or process sensory information. The Barbie comes with a fidget spinner, noise-canceling headphones, flat shoes, a flowy skirt for less fabric to skin contact, and a communication tablet to reflect various autistic experiences. Mattel has previously released dolls with Down syndrome, type 1 diabetes.
Wait, what? I didn't know that.
Blindness.
How does a doll have diabetes? How would you be able to tell?
Vitiligo, hearing aids, and prosthetic legs.
All right. Well, there's an autistic Barbie. I think this is a good call by Ryan Lost in Texas. They need to make a cool Barbie who drinks 12 to 14 beers a night for normal guys like me. All right, bro. Bear Brother texts in on the Gallant says podcast line. What did he text in? Hang on a second. I can acquire this over here. By the way, 281-836-3912. Bear Brother texts in. That car is called a slab. The rims are swangers or elbows. The slabs with elbows are the equivalent of Bubba with his 12-inch lift and the car with the giant Coke can that makes the loudest sound possible at 3 a.m. in the fucking morning. Okay, sounds like he's dealing with people that have cars like that. Sounds like he's dealing with that. I would love an Alabama man Barbie who drinks 12 to 14 beers a night for normal guys like me. Greg Todd, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic about the autistic folks out there stemming. When I hear that, it sounds like some sort of Gen Z term for doing drugs. What else do we have here in the Houston / brain rot part of the Gallant Says podcast? Anyone see this? Hear about this? This is a news report.
A new supervillain has entered the chat, and according to Gen Z, she's seated right here at this table.
Oh, no.
The Zoomer Council has spoken. Karen is out. A new monster is a millennial named Jessica.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Jessica's the new Karen.
Stop.
So, Karens, you're free to go buy gold and move to the villages, I guess. The idea has been bouncing around the internet for some time, maybe since late summer, but recently has become more popular in the feeds of older folk, and that's why we're doing it on the news now.
Love this AI slop there. So, Karen out, Jessica's in. Greg Todd is telling me to look up STEM definition. What does that mean? Truly, I do not know. Sorry if I hurt anybody. STEM definition. Autism. Self-stimulatory behavior, hand flapping, rocking, humming, used for self-regulation, managing emotions, or processing sensory input. Okay, maybe they could have explained that a little bit better on the news report. I've never heard of that, but yikes. That does not sound fun. All right. What else do we have here on Brain Rot edition of the show? Who the fuck thought this was a good idea to write? Why the hell did this guy write this? This is a real part of a article in The Athletic, I guess. This is written by Jared Weiss, and it's specifically about this little clip right here. I bet this will get us copyright struck. It's about Victor Wembanyama kicking a basketball out of the top of a hoop when there's a bunch of balls in the net. Here's the article. The video of Victor Wembanyama kicking a basketball in the net was too remarkable to believe. But like so many other things he does, it somehow wasn't AI. So when I asked him if he planned to break the world high kick record, he said he could beat it confidently. He didn't realize in that moment that the record is not just another quantification of his interstellar spectacle, but is deeply connected to his journey. This man was smoking weed when he wrote this. It's not about the record itself, but who it belongs to now. This is the story of Wemby and the Dunk Father, bound by the 7 postures, the future of humanity, and the true nature of their inner animal. My God. I haven't done enough drugs for that. Have not done enough drugs for that. What else do we have here? Brain rot. Ooh, who the fuck wrote this? So I just stumbled across this, and I don't know why it grabbed my attention, but it's a picture of Sam Elliott with his wife and their daughter. It reads, despite well-documented challenges within the family in years past, the photo captures a rare, peaceful moment of togetherness, one that reflects time, distance, and the complexity that often exists behind public lives. It's a reminder that families, like people, are not static, and moments of calm can emerge after difficult chapters. So I saw that, and I'm like, okay, seems like this was written by AI. Then I saw this response, and I more wanted to get off the internet. This is written by, I believe, this is written by Rafiq Ahmad, a nurse. There's something quietly powerful about this photo. White heart emoji. Not perfection, presence, not a headline, a moment. Time has a way of softening sharp edges, of making room for understanding where there was once hurt. Seeing them together reminds us that families aren't defined only by their hardest chapters, but also by the courage to sit at the same table again. Peace doesn't always mean everything was fixed. Sometimes it simply means everyone shows love for this moment, and that in itself is beautiful. Okay, so I saw these, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? What are we talking about here? What's the event that the Elliott family went through? Well, I actually found it in the replies. The daughter stabbed Catherine with a pair of scissors a few years back. What? Article from People magazine, Catherine Ross. Daughter attacked me with scissors. And I guess there was a restraining order. Okay, awful that their family's going through this. But we get that AI slop write-up about a family photo taken after this, burying the lead. Well, they're all together after the daughter stabbed the mother with scissors, as one does. They're all back together. But can we get that important context in there and get that fucking AI slop out of the way? Woof. Crazy. Brain rot continues on the Gallant Says podcast. Ryan Lost in Texas has tagged me in this. All right. I'm sorry in advance. Hopefully this isn't porn.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Lesson 4 of Orbology. Yeah. Of Orbology. Yeah. This one's important. Is important.
Is this porn?
By now, you might be noticing some coincidences. Strange coincidences. You thought of something, and then it happened. Yeah. Orbology found you. The orb found you. You. Right when you needed it. When you needed it. Relax when you needed it most. Relax. Relax, hotshot. It's all part of the plan. Relax. You're doing great. Yeah. Focus. Little moments where you're drawn to a different choice. Listen to them. Yeah. Focus. Yeah. Me look. Yeah. Me look. Yeah. Class dismissed. Nice. Oh, and next time, pay attention. Pay attention.
I stopped paying attention very early on in that. I stopped very early on. Goodness gracious. That's why did we do that? Why did we do that? I don't know. Thanks for that, Ryan, I guess. Jesus. What else do we have as the brain rot / politics part of the Gallant Says podcast continues? Did anyone see this? This is from a couple of weeks ago. I had this bookmarked, and I was cleaning through my bookmarks yesterday. This was the person who introduced Jasmine Crockett, who is now running for Senate in Texas. Guys, this is, you think my singing's bad? Well, it is compared to this.
Let's get into it. Okay. She ain't never scared and she ain't never been. Who is willing to go toe-to-toe against the president? I can't wrap my head around someone who votes Republican. She advocate for feeding kids. They protect folks touching them. Trump invading his...
That part of that song is the favorite. That part of the song is my favorite. Protect us from touching them.
His own country with our army, what a joke. We remember Pearl Harbor by illegally bombing boats. But y'all thought we wasn't gonna do nothing, buddy, think again. They only trying to scare out of running, cause they think she'll win. Listen, thought I told y'all we ain't never scared. Now look who name on the docket. Got 2 words for every racist bigot. Jasmine Crockett.
All right, you know what? That was a hell of a rhyme. That was a hell of a rhyme. Oh, God. That was a really good rhyme. Those are bars. Anyway, politics section of the Gallant Says podcast. I played a clip from this yesterday on yesterday's politics section. Look, sometimes you just got to take the L. Sometimes you just got to punt. You can't be Dan Campbell. You can't always go for it on 4th down. Sometimes you got to punt. Did anyone see this clip of Missouri Senator Josh Hawley spending 5 minutes performatively asking this question to Dr. Nisha Verma at the Supreme Court hearings that we mentioned yesterday that have to do with transgender folks being allowed to play sports? In case you missed it, there's 5 minutes of this. We'll play only a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the
The
question.
goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get
I take care
pregnant?
of many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant?
So this just keeps going on and on and on. I don't want to watch too much of it. Holly's obviously performing here. You know what would be great? I get that there's a loud vocal minority for the left of supporters who will get very angry if they feel like they've been put to the side, but they've had their time. I think they have gotten some of the things that they wanted, but they tried to get too much. And I'm sorry, biological men shouldn't be allowed to play sports with biological women. This is very easy. And I don't know why things have gotten so twisted where people are afraid to just answer this question in a matter-of-fact way. And I would encourage those on the left to just take the L and stop digging your heels in and dying on this hill. But it's not just coming in that example right there, where a senator is grilling a doctor who's just stuck up there, who by the way, I don't think elected to any specific office. Could be wrong on that front. But you've also got a Supreme Court justice that's dropping this. And I'm just like, why? On the Supreme Court, by the way, I think conceptually the Supreme Court is supposed to be not political, but everything's political now. And I'm by political, I mean not partisan, right? I suppose that everyone has their own interpretation of the law, but it's supposed to be as minimally partisan as possible. In theory, it's probably never actually been that. But this is what Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson had to say when asked a similar question. And I just don't get why.
You have the overarching classification, you know, everybody has to be, play on the team that is the same as their sex at birth. But then you have a gender identity definition that is operating within that, meaning a distinction, meaning that for cisgender girls, they can play consistent with their gender identity.
I hate that we say cisgender now.
For transgender girls, they can't.
So I think that, okay, so as to the part about your ability to pass over from boy to girl,
yes,
you can go from one way but not the other. I want to be clear that BPJ is not challenging that specific classification. I think that's important to start with. But I think, if anything, that's useful evidence as to the lack of a transgender-based discrimination, because if the legislature were just sort of unsettled by the notion of transgender athletes, I think the answer would have been to then bar them from
No, I
doing
appreciate
what
that.
consistent with their gender.
I appreciate that. I guess I was getting at the what I understood the Chief Justice to be trying to discuss, which was this notion that this is really just about the definition of we accept that you can separate boys and girls, and we are now looking at the definition of a girl, and we're saying only people who were.
Like, I just don't get it. My eyes are just glazing over there. I don't get why they can't just take the L here. I don't think that we should be mean to people who identify as transgender. I'm more like, hey, just, I don't want to pay for it, number one. And number two, don't force this stuff on kids. And number three, shouldn't be allowed to play sports. The justifications that are used about, like, oh, they should be allowed to play sports. Oh, they might kill themselves, or they might have a rough childhood. Yeah, I'm sure it's rough. This is a sacrifice. You know, decisions have consequences and stuff. But that doesn't mean you should be able to be mean or a dick to people like this. I don't believe in that. And I think that we have gotten a little bit lost along the way as far as like how we talk to people that we are clearly uncomfortable with, uncomfortable being around. don't be an asshole, right? But at the same time, I do not get why the left continues to dig in here and dance around stuff like this. I think that if they actually could answer these questions fairly and honestly, that we could all move on instead of this constantly being a stupid issue that now the Supreme Court is wasting its time with. But everyone is, well, I do not get why we are tap dancing around this. It's bizarre. But that's politics, folks. That's how it goes. By the way, we are fair and balanced here. We do try to be fair and balanced. Who the fuck thought that this is a good idea? This is American Secretary of War Pete Hegseth a couple of days ago in Brownsville.
The next frontier AI model company to join GenAI.mil, and that is Grok from xAI, which will go live later this month. So I want to thank you, Elon, and your incredible team for leaning forward with us on this as well. Very soon we will have the world's leading AI models on every unclassified and classified network throughout our department. Long overdue. To further that, today at my direction.
God, I think Ryan Lawson, Texas, summarized it up the best. I mean, this is Skynet. Has no one watched sci-fi movies? The Matrix, Terminator, two of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made, with questions about philosophy along the way, blah, blah, blah. Cinematic masterpieces, which, specifically in the case of Terminator, Avatar sucks, James Cameron. Stop with these fucking bullshit movies. They suck. They're awful. The first one, I enjoyed it. It's Fern Gully. We're going to make 6 more. Make another Terminator movie. Especially now. Seems a little relevant. No? Unless you're bought off by big AI or something like that. Can we get back to sci-fi movies that are great? And also, can we, I don't know, not involve artificial intelligence in the military? Shit, there was some movie, I think it was with like Jessica Biel a couple of years ago about like Jamie Foxx about planes, a plane that's controlled by artificial intelligence. Do I need to watch that now? Greg Todd says Avatar is great. Ryan Lawson, Texas says Avatar is just dances with wolves in space. That's not inaccurate. I really think it's Fern Gully though. Sean Martinez says it's Fern Gully and Dances with Wolves. We're joking around right now, but like artificial intelligence plus the military. Who thinks that's a good idea? I sure as shit don't. Shout out to Avila who sent me a rose on TikTok. Paul, who are you rooting for on Sunday? I'm going to find out along the way on Sunday. We'll talk more about this on tomorrow's show. Sorry for the late start today, but it does seem like people are more active later on in the day. As I continue to look for a real job, this is something that we might start doing at night in the future, or we're going to keep doing it during the day. But for now, appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm just not really as much of a morning person as I wanted to be. Last night we had a rodeo event. I had a couple of drinks and I just had a difficult time getting out of bed. Still woke up at like 7:30, but I'm still thinking to myself, man, especially in this spot where I don't have a job, maybe I need to make it a little bit later in the day. The 7 a.m. start time does get more hits, and I can talk about more things, but yeah, this might be something that we migrate to a different time at some point, just because of my own personal limitations. But Junior Franco says, I enjoyed your Wicked watch along stream. Maybe we'll do one. Maybe we'll do one with some bad movie and the girlfriend at some point. She wants to see Wicked Part 2. I've yet to see it. But that's going to wrap up today's show. Sorry about the Instagram folks not being able to get into the comment section. Hopefully we'll be able to figure that out for tomorrow. I got to get a new monitor for this setup now that we got the new chat system, which I think people like it, right? For the Twitchers out there, I am curious about some of the comments that you are making, because if I look at my little docket to the side, some of the Twitch comments are like specifically highlighted with a different color. And I'm wondering if that's because of some sort of different comment being made. Because I really do not understand how Twitch works. That's why we've incorporated all these chats in at the same time. But, for example, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot posted this: best era of adult entertainment. This, for some reason, is highlighted. Does that mean that you used bits or points to make that comment? Because there's other comments that are being made by people that do not have this same highlight over. For example, Junior Broncos made a comment. Paulie's the dancing through life guy. But that one is not highlighted for whatever reason. Gotcha. Okay. Greg Todd, I'm subscribed. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, I'm a subscriber. Is Junior Broncos a subscriber? Is HDX Rhino a subscriber? HDX Rhino identifies as a subscriber. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So this is differentiating between subscribers and non-subscribers, right? Oh yeah, we got the meme. Did that show up? Oh hell yeah. Okay. All right. Listen, we're learning new things. I love this new chat system though. I really like it. What else do we have? Greg Todd says my color is indifferent. No, I just mean on the docket that I'm using. Okay, no one cares about this, but this is just me trying to figure out some technical things while we are still up and running. Thank you very much, everybody who tuned in. I don't know what time we're going to do it tomorrow. I'll just be perfectly honest. We're going to try to do it at 7, but it seems like we're getting more traffic at 10. So maybe at 10, maybe at noon. I might just take off the times on all my social feeds, because we do it every single day. We just do it at different times across the day. So long, farewell.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.
And have yourselves